Dig them reviews, time to review music. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Hello, Internet. You're now watching Higgs Digs. You dig? Pallbearer is a doom metal band from Little Rock, Arkansas, and have been active since about 2008. They released their fantastic first album, Sorrow and Extinction, to great acclaim. They now return with yet another album a few years later entitled Foundations of Burden. Now, I'm a big fan of the stoner rock genre, with bands such as Caius and bands such as Sleep, and basically anything in between that could be deemed doom metal or stoner rock, such as the originators, Black Sabbath, or certainly particular albums by the Melvins, which I consider one of my favorite doom metal albums, Bullhead. This band sticks with that classic 90s stoner rock sound with the melodic vocals of Brett Campbell and the heavy, distorted guitar playing. It's got some abrasive, loud, thunderous drums and the bong-rattling bass of Joseph Rowland. The productions on Foundations of Burden is simply pristine. The guitars are heavy, but they also have a nice thick tone to them. The feel that I get from the mix is that the band basically played them live in the studio because it has a very organic sound to it. The songwriting is quite good on this one. The first track, of course, Worlds Apart, has this killer riff, and about 3 minutes into the song, the rhythm slows down to a melodic vocal chant with lots of layered vocals on top of that, and a soaring guitar solo that is simple but very, very effective. The only thing about this song is that it kind of loses steam for me towards the end of the track. The instrumental doesn't really build up to as much of a climax as I would have wanted it to. While the playing sounds good, it just doesn't really go anywhere for me. Felt like the song is just 10 minutes for the sake of it being 10 minutes. This band most definitely wears their Black Sabbath influences on their sleeve. You get that especially on the track The Ghost I Used to Be. Brett Campbell definitely sings in that higher register, much like Ozzy, to the point where it's at the very top of his register, almost to breaking point. And much like Ozzy in his Sabbath days, it really works, and it complements that heavy music very nicely. This track is an example of a good instrumental that slows down towards the end. It build, and this is maybe my favorite track on the album. The closer track, which is also a great track, but I find during the 5-minute mark of the last song on the album, I'm about ready to just be done listening. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't like the album. There is plenty to like about it, but there's also plenty not to like about it. I'm just saying this album as a whole, while it was very cohesive, didn't really blow me away. The songwriting seemed a little bit lazy and not really adventurous enough. I've heard something like this done better by bands like Ohm. Not hating, just not loving. I'm going to give this album a 6.9. Decent, but was pretty disappointed because I actually kind of dug that first album. Hey, thanks for stopping by Higgs Digs. Be sure to check out my Facebook page right there for any kind of updates, and as always, you have yourself a pleasant day. Skeep-bop-bee-doop-bop-a-deep, skeep-bop-bee-doop-bop-a-deep, skeep-bop-bee-doop-bop-a-deep.